My soul walks where your memory lingers, in the shadow of nights that never forgive. You left, but your scent stayed behind. On the folds of my robe, in the breath of the wind, in the silence between heartbeats. The falcon does not forget his sky, even when caged. And I, my beloved, do not forget you, though fate has locked the door, and time has swallowed the key. I speak to the stars in your name, each one a witness, to the longing stitched in my silence. I do not cry in daylight, but my pillow knows the rain, that eyes refuse to show. You were not just a presence. You were a season of life, a spring that made the desert bloom. Your smile was my sunrise, your absence, a night that stretches endlessly, over dunes of regret. I remember your voice, like the call of doves at dawn, so soft, so sincere, so complete. Now the world is full of voices, but none that speak to my soul. I have seen beauty across continents, walked through Parisian gardens, heard the sea chant in Santorini, climbed peaks that kiss the skies, but nothing compares to the depth of your gaze. When it met mine, they call me prince, but before you I was only a man, searching for meaning in titles. With you I was real, unmasked, a desert child, drinking poetry from your lips. The horses still run at dawn, their hooves echoing our past. When you would ride beside me, hair wild with wind, eyes brave with dreams. Now they run alone, and I ride with ghosts. I look into the mirror, not to find myself, but to see if any trace of you still lives in my reflection. Your name is etched on my breath, a prayer I never say aloud, but always feel. They say a poet bleeds ink, but I have bled in silence, in the wounds I hide, under robes of pride and protocol. This kingdom knows me as ruler, but I am a prisoner of a love that vanished like a mirage. How do I explain the ache of something unfinished? You left mid-verse, and the poem still aches for your return, to place the final line. With your gentle voice, even the moon asked about you. She used to watch us when we would walk by the sea, your laughter curling in the wind, your fingers trailing waves of hope that now crash against the cliffs of memory. I dreamt of you last night, not as a stranger, not as a memory, but as the girl who once said, "I'll never leave." And yet I woke to a bed of emptiness and a sky that hid its stars. What is loyalty, if not waiting for someone who may never return? What is poetry, if not the desperate attempt to make absence feel present? You touched my soul, not with your hands, but with your truth. Now I wander palaces of gold, and still feel poor, without your voice to call me home. I talk to Allah in the quietest hours, asking him if he sees the same ache that blooms in me each time I smell your perfume on passing wind. He does not reply in words, but sometimes a white feather falls at my feet, and I remember how your favorite bird was the dove. There are names the world forgets, and names the heart never. Not chase after what is gone, but I still walk the same roads we once traveled hand in hand, as if the dust remembers your steps and whispers them back to me. The trees you touched grow differently, their leaves hum a softer tune each time the wind arrives from the direction of your goodbye. There are moments, quiet, in the folds of late night, where I feel you near, not in body, no, you are far beyond the reach of hands, but in the way my soul leans forward, as if it hears a voice no one else can hear. That's the cruel miracle of love, that even in your absence, you are more present than the faces I see each day. I once believed that forgetting was an act of strength. Now I know, remembering with tenderness takes far more courage. I do not erase your traces, I gather them, like rare pearls fallen from a thread, and wear them around my heart. The sea still calls to me, just as it did when we used to walk barefoot across the shore, leaving temporary prints on the edge of eternity. Now, I let the waves claim my secrets, one poem at a time. I speak your name to the ocean, and it answers, with a silence, more profound than words. I am no longer seeking closure. I have learned to live with the ache of unfinished things. Not all stories have endings, and not all endings are endings. Some are just pauses in the eternal return of a love too wild to be captured by time. When the moonlight falls across my bed, it looks like your hands, resting gently on my chest. I close my eyes and imagine your breath, mingling with mine, two winds lost in the same sky. And even though it's just longing, playing tricks again, I hold onto that illusion, like it's the only truth I trust. People say I've changed, grown quieter, more distant, more drawn to solitude. They don't understand. I haven't withdrawn from the world. I've simply begun living in a different dimension, one where you still exist. Sometimes I write your name into the sand, knowing the tide will wash it away. But even that moment of seeing it spelled under my hand gives me a brief illusion of control. What I cannot hold, I can still name. The falcon returns to its perch, but his eyes are wild. He misses you too. He searches the sky for a shape he once trusted. I tell him he's not alone. I too search the horizon for something I'll never find. You used to say, I carried the world too heavily. Now I carry something heavier, your absence. It is invisible, but it bends my spine in places no one sees. Do you know what it feels like to be celebrated by millions and yet wake up wishing for just one voice? The world shouts my name, but I only long for the sound of yours. They say I'm wise, but wisdom is just pain that's had time to organize itself. Every poem I write is a conversation with the ghost of what we were. I pretend you're listening from wherever life has taken you. The palace halls echo differently now. Even music doesn't fill them the same. The laughter of guests rings like bells in a temp